Welcome to Watch of the Week here on Caseback. This is a series of brief reviews and previews of recently introduced timepieces. It's not a commercial, so you will hear my unfiltered reaction, my unfiltered opinion, and our guest in this week is... I have a weakness for Zenith. Quality-wise, it's on one level with Rolex and the manufacturer is copying nobody. In Zenith's history, you find many examples of bold and unique designs paired with top-notch technology. I'm particularly a friend of the legendary Primero, especially the versions from the 19s. But this Chronomaster A385 here goes in the same direction. Together with the typical Zenith feature, it brings a revival of the first gradient dial in watchmaking and the revival of a historic reference. And it's available right now. The first watches will be in the mail, and end of the week you will see the first reviews. But I personally think right now for normal people it is not available. If you want to know why, stay with me 3 minutes here. So first let's go over the basics. Automatic chronometer, steel case, diameter is 37 millimeters. Water resistance is 5 atmospheres. And inside works the Primero 400 movement with staggering 36,000 beats per hour and a power reserve of 50 hours. The chronograph layout puts the small seconds at 9 o'clock, 12-hour counter at 6 o'clock, and there is a tachymeter scale. And the date you find on position 4, also a typical Zenith feature. So first point, what exactly is a gradient dial? If you look closely, then you notice that it is not a sunburst effect, but a dial with one base color, which loses saturation towards the center. Cheap executed, this can look incredibly cheap, but I think we can trust Zenith here. And this type of dial was first seen in 1969. And so this in fact is a modern vintage watch, what I personally really love because it brings flair without failure. And already back then, Zenith knows its marketing. In 1970, the A385 took part in Zenith's Operation Sky. This extreme test consisted of strapping the watch to an Air France Boeing 707 landing gear on a flight from Paris to New York. And the goal was to test its resistance to external aggressions such as drastic temperature fluctuations, wind force, and changing air pressure. And upon landing, the watch was still functioning perfectly. But why this operation? Well, the new quartz movement didn't survive such a ride, and so Zenith wanted to prove that it still can compete. At the end, of course, this means nothing, because neither the owner of a quartz watch nor the owner of a mechanical Primero rides on the landing gear of a Boeing 707. But okay, nice story. And Zenith now pairs the dial with a nostalgic case in the original dimensions. Don't think it wears small because of the 37 millimeters. These almost square cases have an enormous presence on the wrist. Diameter 40 would create a monster here. And this case really shines when you get used to the overall form, because then you can notice all the details. Note, for example, the high polished facets left and right. A nice contrast to the brushed case. Brushed with a sunburst effect, by the way. See how the brush worked towards the center? So basically, Zenith has transferred the usual sunburst effect on the dial to the case, and now you have sunburst and gradient side by side. The movement. There are so many informations about Primero out there, so that I don't want to bother you with basics here. Let me just mention that it's fast, it feels good, if you know what I mean, the handling, and it is a beauty. At the same time, it needs maintenance more often than other movements, because it's not built for robustness, it's built for speed. Plus, Zenith is part of the service mafia and will lighten the owner of this watch in the next years by thousands. I've made kind of a comedy video about that topic, so if you're interested, there is a link in the upper right corner. And the watch comes in 2 versions, on leather or with a so-called a leather bracelet, which they call the modern remake of the Gay Frère bracelet. And I would pick leather, but that's taste, nothing more. And so why is it not available for normal people right now? Because the watch retails at 7,800 euros, which are roughly 9,500 US dollars, and this is more a symbol than a price. It doesn't reflect a value, it just says, dear customer, we want it big, from you. And if you don't have to work for your funds, then go ahead, but all the others should wait until the first pieces show up on the used market. The correction there will be absolutely brutal. The dial color is certainly not for everybody. Check your wardrobe. If you like your navy blue suit, then the watch can be a bad choice. But if you're more the khaki guy, it might look perfect. So overall a very nice piece. and all we need now is a little more time. Okay, that's all for now. See you next Monday to Watch of the Week here on Caseback.